President Nana Akufo-Addo has stressed the need for all citizens to continue to help build a united and inclusive community for all. According to him, citizens must eschew all forms of divisiveness that can potentially destroy the cohesion and unity that has long existed in the country. The president made these remarks at the Independence Square in Accra on Thursday at the national celebrations of the iconic Islamic day, Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr marks the end of Ramadan, the Muslim holy month of fasting, and is celebrated during the first 3 days of Shawwal, the 10th month of the Islamic calendar. Ramadan is a period for individuals who practice Islam and fast from dawn to sunset for 30 days, and also serves as a period of introspection, communal prayer in the mosque, and the reading of the Quran. Present at this year's occasion were Vice President Alhaji Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the Second Lady Samira Bawumia, as well as the Chief Imam, Sheikh Nuru Osman Sharabutu, and the hierarchy of the Muslim clergy and scores of the Muslim community in Accra. Delivering his address to mark the 2024 Eid al-Fitr celebrations, President Akufo-Addo warned against persons seeking to use divisive means of communication to sow seeds of anarchy, particularly in an election year.
Let us make this spirit of togetherness a national value that will give true meaning to the principle of one nation, one destiny. The Quran states, and I quote, "O mankind, we have created you from a male and female and made you into nations and tribes that you may know one another," unquote. Let us therefore eschew all forms of divisiveness that have the potential of destroying the unity and cohesion of our country.
President Akufo-Addo used the occasion to commend all Muslims in the country for their unwavering devotion throughout Ramadan and called on Allah's blessings upon their lives.
Ghana continues to be the envy of the world on account of the religious harmony that we foster among adherents of different religions in a secular state which advocates religious freedom. I pray you to continue to promote religious harmony and coexistence. It is the essence of Islam, which means peace and submission to the will of Allah. I shall always remain indebted to you for your high sense of patriotism and commitment to Ghana and to the well-being of the Muslim faith. May Allah continue to imbue you with the wisdom to provide leadership and service to our country.
For his part, the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Sharabutu, prayed for Allah's blessings for President Nana Akufo-Addo and his vice, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, with ideas for the good of the country. He also asked Allah to continue to allow Ghana to enjoy the peace and tranquility it has had over the years. With a few months to end their term in office, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Sharabutu called on Allah to grant the first and second gentlemen of the land ideas and visions that will transform the citizens' lives.
Your Excellency, the Chief Imam wants to render a special prayer, and he said he wants to begin by invoking Allah's mercy in the first place. Thanking God and praising Him and glorifying Him for offering us a good leadership in the person of the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo. I therefore pray, may God protect you.
Vice President
So do I pray for your Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, also for God's protection. May his desires, aspirations, visions, objectives come to fruition.
May
God inspire you with the ideas that translate in policies that bring so much benefit to the citizens of the country. May God help the Vice President, Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, indeed, and you, the President. Our country has been endowed and favored by God with peace, and we pray that God keeps the peace of our country. We live in peace with practitioners of all other faiths. We sit around the same table and consult ourselves in peace and harmony.
The year-on-year inflation rate rose to 25.8% in March from 23.2% the previous month, the Ghana Statistical Service has announced on Wednesday. This means that in March 2024, the general price level was 25.8% higher than March 2023. Month-on-month inflation between December 2023 and January 2024 was 2.0%. These figures were disclosed at a press briefing organized by the Ghana Statistical Service on Wednesday on the latest consumer price index in Ghana for March. The Statistical Service attributed a rise to the depreciation of the cedi, which has pushed prices of imports up, as well as the rising cost of fuel products and food prices for consumers. The Consumer Price Index (CPI) measures changes in the price of a fixed basket of household goods and services. At the press briefing, Professor Samuel Inim, the government statistician, said food inflation was 29.6% compared to last month's food inflation rate of 27%, with the month-on-month food inflation being 1%, adding that the non-food inflation rate stood at 22.6% in March, up from last month's non-food inflation of 20%, with the month-on-month inflation rate at 0.7%.
The month of March 2024 Consumer Price Index stood at 209.5 relative to 166.6 that was recorded for the month of March 2023. Consumer Price Index for the month of March 2024 stood at 209.5 relative to 166.6 for March 2023. Given these two indices, year-on-year inflation for the month of March 2024 stood at 25.8. In the month of March 2024, annual rate of inflation stood at 25.8. This 25.8 means that between March 2023 and March 2024, general price levels of goods and services went up by 25.8%. Between the month of March 2023 and March 2024, general price levels of goods and services went up by 25.8. It will be recalled that in the month of February 2024, the rate of inflation stood at 23.2. This 23.2 relative to 25.8 indicates that there have been an increase of 2.6 percentage points between the month of February 2024 and March 2024. On a month-on-month basis, we saw prices of goods and services going up by 0.8%, which simply means that general price levels of goods and services between February 2024 and March 2024 went up by 0.8%. This 0.8% is half the rate that was recorded in February 2024, as month-on-month inflation for February 2024 was 1.6%. Food and non-food inflation relative to February 2024 have gone up by 2.6 percentage points, as food inflation in the month of February 2024 stood at 27.0%, increasing to 29.6% for the month of March 2024. And non-food inflation 20.0 for February 2024, also increasing by 2.6 percentage points to 22.6% in the month of March 2024. On a month-on-month basis, given the overall rate of inflation of 0.8% for the month of March 2024, food inflation stood at 1.0% and non-food inflation 0.7%. From a locally produced item and an imported item perspective, as we've been recording in the recent past months, locally produced item recorded a rate of inflation 26.6%, which was higher than inflation for imported items 23.8%.
He said inflation for imported items was 23.8% compared to that for locally produced items, which was 26.6%. On the regional basis, the Upper East recorded the highest inflation rate of 42.9%, while the Oti region registered the lowest inflation rate of 14.3%.
Across the 16 administrative regions for the month of March 2024, the region that recorded the highest rate of inflation was the Upper East region, that recorded a rate of inflation of 42.9%, and the region that recorded the lowest rate of inflation was the Oti region, that recorded a rate of inflation of 14.3% for the month of March 2023. These regions, that is the Upper East region with the highest rate of inflation and Oti region with the lowest rate of inflation, culminate in about a 3 times difference between the region with the highest rate of inflation and the region with the lowest rate of inflation, respectively 42.9% and 14.3%. From a food perspective, we continue to see Eastern region recording the highest rate of food inflation and Upper East region recorded the highest rate of non-food inflation for the month of March 2023.